How goes it, everyone? Welcome back to Larry's Anything Goes. Hopefully you guys are having a great day. Today's topic I'll be talking about, and I actually want you guys to see it. I'll be talking about the book known as The Undergrad Railroad by Jullien and Gordan. Great book, just finished reading it, and I said, you know what, it's been a while since I've talked about a book, so let me talk about it. You know, this young man is a millennial like myself, in my generation, surpassed me on so many levels, and all I can do is just take my hat off to him and tell him to keep the good work. And he inspires me, and I know he inspires others all at the same time. Now, this book, The Undergrad Railroad, was very, very insightful by Mr. Jullien Gordan. Okay, very insightful, you know, and that's why I said I had to make a video about it. I had to make a video about the book and him all at the same time. But before I do, I will give you all, if you don't know who Mr. Jullien Gordan is, you can Google him. You know, he's a great TEDx talk. My gosh, so many great videos when it comes to not only just college, but just when it comes to real estate investment. But that's the really thing that sparked my curiosity about Mr. Jullien Gordan. Now, he's a high performance coach and consultant for organizations, individuals, and students that, you know, want to increase performance, motivation, productivity, engagement, and retention as a founding partner at New Hire. His consulting work has helped Fortune 500 companies align their human and 100 companies align their human capital strategies to engage, motivate, and retain high performers. And his speeches and trainings have helped over 10,000 professionals discover more ways to create value, be present, and find meaningful work, because that's the biggest problem you see. A lot of people nowadays that could have all the education and the certifications in the world, all the job experience in the world, especially with the younger generation. However, the biggest problem is a lot of people are just very disengaged with their job because they're just there because for a paycheck. They're not really there to add value. So, and I see it all the time. I'm sure you see it all the time, especially with the younger people. It's just like, you know, it's hard to, outside of a paycheck, it's hard to motivate people, you know. But anyways, I digress. Also, Mr. Gordan obtained his bachelor's degree from business economics from UCLA and his master's degree in education from Stanford University. One interesting fact is that Mr. Gordan stated that it's ironic that how he used to help students get into college, but now he actually helps students escape from college. So if you watched my videos before, you know how I do not discredit anything in life. If you're trying at anything, you're doing something which is better than nothing. I am just about people positioning themselves so that they can have more options in life. Like if you have a job, but you create side hustles, side businesses, have multiple investments, definitely engage with financial professionals and form investment teams, you know, like become a part of my Care Bars International investment team, you know, which is free to join as an affiliate. To quote Mr. Jullien Gordan, this book is to help future and current college students, you know, in a sense. Succeed in college, not just by, you know, getting by in college or, you know, fail college. Because one of the most significant gems that I took away from this book, getting actually to the book, and it was actually, you know, it was actually crazy, you know, what I took from this book, because it's like I just had to look at through it not just from his perspective, but from other perspectives at the same time. Is that the amount of people who actually get up, you know, to their ears in debt by going to college. Because me, I paid for it and utilized tuition reimbursement to go to college. So that, you know, credit cards helped me get through college and be able to escape college debt free. So that I was fortunate on that, and I had a decent paying job at the time, unlike most college students, because I went later. So my story is a little different. But nothing about me is really traditional, so we'll leave it at that. But you know, but there's so many people that, you know, they're not finishing, you know, or you know, and even if they do, they're still up to their ears in debt. They're up to their ears in debt. They don't finish, you know, and it's just insane when one really thinks about it. And of course, so many people just picking a major for the sake of picking a major, but never really utilizing their majors, never getting a position in their majors, you know, still end up to their ears in debt. It's crazy. Or like Dr. Claude Anderson would put it, we have all these people with master's degrees, yet they haven't mastered anything. Now, this isn't to discredit anyone with higher education. Like I said, I myself have one. You know, the thing I'm really just stating is that, you know, because earning, you know, a college degree is very expensive, you know, getting, you know, higher education. But in 2020, we are seeing more and more businesses created, no matter if they are big or small. Real estate development projects are being implemented everywhere, and the message is definitely clear. It's all about ownership. And so many of us catching up because this mindset was not taught in the home. but it's mostly taught via corporations, definitely via YouTube University, which is, I got a lot of the information, I just regurgitated that I get from the professionals that are on YouTube University or from my mentors. That's the thing. It's all about, we live in a digital age, so it's all about sharing the information, but before I continue with going over more gems about this book, I would like to state that Mr. Jullien Gordan is a successful real estate investor as well. That's the number one reason why I was listening to an interview with him and Dr. Royce Watkins, another person I listened to, and it just clicked, Mr. Jullien Gordan purchased a multiplex in New York City, which, if you know about owning real estate in New York City, anywhere in New York City, it is a cash cow. But the caveat to this is Mr. Jordan was going to collaborate with his friends to purchase this property. And of course, when it came down to bringing the money to the table, his friends basically flaked out on him and they didn't come up with the money. So he had to, finagle certain things, and he came up with the money himself. Okay. So, and sometimes that's just what you have to do. It's nice. I always talk about group economics, partnerships, teams, etc. But if people aren't on the same mission that you're on, if you guys aren't on code with each other economically, then that just means you gotta leave them alone from that perspective. Not just forever, but from that perspective. Okay, I can definitely respect that, and understand that. Why? Because I am a big fan of group economics, investment teams. But one of the hardest things to find is the right people to do business with. People who are serious and ready to execute and not just talk about doing something. People love to talk nowadays, especially with social media, but action and implementation is the hardest part. And that's what we need to focus way more on. Okay. And ever since I became an entrepreneur, one thing that I have learned that is people are not serious about doing things outside of the box and are not interested in making the right sacrifices, because it does take sacrifice in order to make things happen. You gotta leave them alone. And if you happen to be surrounded by talkers and not doers, then it's time to really leave those people alone. Now, back to the book. And before I even go to the book, I knew this was gonna pop up. Sorry, y'all. Having issues with Screenomatic. And that's the thing at the end of the day, that's the thing at the end of the day. When it boils down to it, you have to, do your best to find the right people, because in that story I was talking about, Mr. Jullien Gordan, he actually, with his friends saw that he was actually making money off of the place and what he was doing and how he didn't have to really work a regular job anymore. They was like, well, how come you didn't try to get me involved with this? And he said, and I quote, hey, I brought this deal to you guys flaked on me. It is what it is. I'm a man of action. I'm not a man of just talking. So I got nothing but respect for people that do that. Okay, nothing but respect. But I digress. And that's just how it is. You got to be ready to go with the punches. And if you go with a lot of people, you can go very far. You might not go that far when you're by yourself, but you're going to go someplace eventually, And one of the great mic droppers from this book is that if you are determined to go to college, then try the community college at first, which is much cheaper, closer to where you reside at, and can pull one in the right direction. Another is, if you're going to get your bachelor's degree, then ensure that you take as many classes as possible so that you can graduate early. To develop, try to develop an entrepreneurial mindset while you're in college, like he did, by hosting parties on all levels. I've had people host video game parties and events, comic book events, whatever floats your boat. Try to see if you can capitalize on it, because if you have like-minded people around, hey, you guys could just start putting events on. A lot of people do that. I hear that. That's been going on for generations, event parties, Try to develop that entrepreneurial mindset, okay? And then another thing, sell multiple products on campus. So like a lot of smart people are doing, on another level, a lot of students and their parents are like, hey, let's just purchase rental properties near campus and whatnot. Rent the rooms out, and then that way, your kids saving on the cost of living, and if they're responsible enough, obviously, the learning responsibility, and you're all making a little bit of a profit and another tax write-off all at the same time. So there's incentive there as well. And a lot of parents will actually get the houses from an unconventional perspective, from delinquent tax properties, so they don't have to worry about a mortgage. Or if they do, they didn't have to put down a huge down payment. They just had to pay off taxes. So it's just the ways to finagle these things. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, that's just another way of looking at it. You have to have an entrepreneurial mindset. Last but definitely not least, ensure that's your graduation when it comes to picking a school. That this is the one thing. Ensure that that the school's graduation rate is high as it is as the acceptance rate. The retention rate is high. Just as the tuition is high. Make sure this is all even level playing field. Because one thing that I did not realize that I learned from this reading the Undergrad Railroad is this: is how many colleges that might have the best education, best programs, etc., and so forth. However, in the whole country. However, they do not have the highest graduation rate. As a fact, they could have one of the highest dropout rates because people can't afford to go there anymore. Scholarships were eliminated, things weren't promised, or people just decided that it wasn't for them. And that's just something that a student and obviously parents would want to take into consideration before their child goes to a school. You find out about the programs, but how's the graduation rate? Okay, because schools a lot of times they're not the best at ensuring that people graduate, because a lot of times it's all about the money at the end of the day. The beautiful thing about America, as we all know, is everything boils around business. And is there anything wrong with that? Absolutely not. That's why they call it a capitalist country. Okay, and education is one of the biggest businesses in the country. So is there anything wrong with that? No. People do not want to recognize this, but that's just what it is. You're dealing with now. Sometimes the tuition rate is a little ridiculous. I mean, because the next bubble, people are calling it the student loan crisis. But hey, I don't make those calls, so I can't really worry about it and not judge it. But now, last but not least, I'd actually like to go over some gems in the book before we finish up here. Excuse me. Actually, 21 ways one could avoid hustling backwards. This is what I learned from this book, and I'm just going to read them right now. All right, so. Yeah, you see, I got the book. Practice what I preach. Undergrad Railroad. There we go. All right. Make sure. I know me. There it is. Yeah. Perfect. Yeah. All right. Anyways, so below are 21 ways you could avoid hustling backwards. Buying a car you can't afford to maintain. He's like, I did this. So it's in your best interest to not do this. Okay. Number 2. Buying a home you can't afford to maintain beyond the mortgage. There are lots of other expenses such as homeowners insurance, taxes, roof work, plumbing work, cleaning, etc. My boy Adrian, we all know about that, don't we? My future friend of mine / brother of mine who's a real estate investor, just like I am. Increasing your cost of living based on your salary, which is not your income, and the assumption that your salary will always increase accordingly. And a lot of people are guilty of doing that, especially in the DMV area. That's why they end up 2 things: house poor and car poor, because they're always trying to look fancy, or as Judge Mathis from the show I used to watch would say, you're basically just you're a dry beggar / you think you're basically bougie but broke all at the same time, and we got a lot of those people in the DMV area. Trust me on that one. Okay, number 4, increasing your cost of living and paying for it with debt. Not in your best mood. Increasing your cost of living based on your income you are getting a job you hate, which most people do, when the income on the career path you desire may be a lot less. Something to think about. Not even knowing what your cost of living is. A lot of people don't. They just go to work and spend money, and they don't really truly think about it. Letting money sit in the savings account, earning a measly interest rate, which is true. With inflation, you might as well be throwing money away. It's all about high interest savings accounts and investments. You have no choice nowadays, family. You have to become educated. If you're not going to get it from YouTube University, then consult a financial professional. Trust me, it's in your best interest. Quitting your job instead of using your job while seriously testing out the economic viability of your business idea. And that is one thing. Do not quit until you at least know your income. You have a significant savings account and you have income coming in, and then you have plans for that income outside of surviving to invest later. These are all things that matter. Okay, a lot of people don't have that mindset. As my boy Ronald would say, mindset is everything. Okay, not knowing how to make money outside of the context of your job. This is the thing that most people are trying to get out of nowadays, and I commend them on that one, because that's something you have to be educated and go through the life experiences of. Undercharging for what you make or do in fear of losing, low paying price sensitive, probably not loyal clients. And that's the thing. If people don't value your product, I agree on that one. If people don't value your product, then there's no point even worrying about keeping these people as customers. That's my thing. And my thing is this: if you're buying from a small business, I'll give a great example. I buy from We Buy Black, right? That's a lot of small family businesses on there, okay? A lot of times I pay more than I would. I'm not saying anything bad about the platform. I pay more than I would if I would just go to the dollar store. But I'm supporting a small business. Dollar General is fine. I'm supporting a small business. So I take pride in that when I purchase those specific products from that platform. Even when you go on Amazon, a lot of times you're purchasing items from small businesses, people who are running a home-based business. I enjoy that, so it's like you're giving a little here, you're giving a little there, okay? Both the corporation's making money and the small business is making money. So it's a great thing, okay? It's just one thing to keep in mind. Saying you want to retire early, but not knowing your numbers, the number you need to save, and the income you need to generate monthly once you retire. A lot of people, in my personal opinion, they don't take that seriously when it comes to retirement. And I think that people need to not only take it seriously, but actually look at the numbers and whatnot, look at your expenses, what they would be, and then go from there. Because a lot of people, we go off of feeling and emotion. A lot of times we got to bring logic back into the equation, okay? And just keep it like that, all right? Okay, buying a single family, and this is a lot of people get in trouble. Buying a single family home is number 14. And assuming that it is an investment without being a fixer-upper that will increase in value as you work on it, or using Airbnb to help you create income with it, okay? You have to do the numbers, like my friend Roy says, it's all about the numbers when it comes to investing in real estate, okay? And a lot of times they even say buying single-family homes, unless you're going to flip it, it's not in your best interest to have for renting, townhomes, duplexes, things like that, even condos. But single-family homes are meant for homeowners, and people do it a lot of times, but there's not as much money as it would be if you had a duplex or if you had a townhouse, because the expenses are less, depending on the city, depending on the state, obviously. All right, number 15, buying or leasing a car that looks cool but does nothing positive for your assets or revenue. And that's a lot of things. See it in the DMV area all the time, people with these nice cars, but the cars suck more money out of them from the gas, from the taxes, the insurance, the maintenance, definitely the maintenance. So these are things that people don't take into consideration, because they still, I call it the high school complex, caring how you look in regards to ensuring that you want people to be jealous of you when it comes to your car. And I'm just like, who cares? Like, a lot of people make money off their cars, Uber, Lyft, Grubhub, Amazon, DoorDash. So it's like, to me, that's smart. If you're going to have an asset like that, at least let it produce something for you. You know what I mean? So that's another thing. Okay, what else we got? Renting an overpriced apartment in an upcoming neighborhood when more affordable options exist, or you could be owning for the same amount. Something to think about. Okay, a lot of people do that and they don't realize they're throwing money away every single month. Taking expensive vacations to get away from a job you hate, instead of investing in an idea that will free you from the job you hate. And a lot of people are guilty of that. I mean, heck, I've done that as well. So I'm not even gonna, a lot of people they work to survive, but they're not really trying to work to have a life that they don't have to take a vacation from. And I have a lot of friends in the travel industry who have their own home-based businesses in the travel industry, and I'm sure they make money off of people like that. But I think it's great to build a life that you still want to take a vacation, but you're not trying to get away from your life. You actually just want to explore and see the world and see other parts of the United States. That's what vacationing should really be. It shouldn't be always about escaping from something that you don't, because my thing is, then you're paying to live someplace you don't want to live. You're working at a job you don't want to work at, and it's kind of just downhill from there, in my personal opinion. Okay. Anyways, number 18, spending $30,000 on a one-day wedding instead of making a down payment on a piece of property or other assets that will support your family forever. Now, I agree with this. If you're gonna have to spend that kind of money on something, it might as well be a house or something, or a business that's going to produce an asset. Not saying getting married isn't important, but I am saying if you're going to spend that kind of money on something, it better be a financial asset coming back to you outside of a wedding. But that's just my personal opinion. Everybody's going to do what they're going to do anyways. Number 19, using credit cards to buy things without setting up automatic withdrawal from your checking account so that you can build your credit instead of killing it. A lot of people just love to have that credit get it mentality, but not, credit maintain it mentality, because whether you like it or not, your credit score can determine certain things for you. That's why there's so many credit repair businesses out here nowadays, because you got so many people out here with jacked up credit, and it's sad, but it's just one of those things, It's like Jay-Z said, if you can't buy it twice, you can't afford it. And this is a man who's got, mountains of money and assets on top. So, if he believes in that philosophy, why shouldn't working people believe in that philosophy? All right, people, almost done. Thank you for staying with me, for those who are still watching. Number 20, trusting that the stock market will automatically grow your money at 10% a year without you having to do anything, when instead your own ideas can turn 10 cents into 11 cents, 10% growth in 12 months with the right amount of effort. Now look, I invest in the stock market, cryptocurrency, gold with my Carrot Bars business. But is that going to make me rich? No, those are just assets I'm putting my money in. As the guy from the Minority Mindset, Jossie Spree, would say, he calls money seeds, because you put seeds in the ground so it can grow. So that's what it is when you put money in these other platforms. You want it to grow. However, don't ever put all your eggs in one basket. Last but definitely not least, number 21, having more than 2 TVs in your home, not because the TVs cost too much, but because of how much time you watch them cost you and your business ideas. And that's one thing I can say within the last 2 years of my life, ever since becoming an entrepreneur. I watch more podcasts, listen to more podcasts, and then I don't watch them as much, but I listen to them more than I do regular television. Why? Because watching regular television is not that productive. I can't tell you how many shows I'm so out of the loop on. Like, I know Walking Dead has been over with over a year now. I still have not seen the season finale. Honestly, I don't care. I haven't caught up on Power. I think I'm 2 seasons behind. I don't care. What's the other show? Games of Thrones. I know it's been over, I think it's been 3 or 4 years now since that show has been over, I think. I still haven't seen the last episode, and I don't care. And if you own a business, those should be the last things on your mind, in my personal opinion. You making your money, getting your money right, getting your money tight, forming your investment teams, forming your teams. Like, the young lady I interviewed, Crystal Simpson, the other day. I interviewed her. Her team. She has her team. I got my team. People like Adrian Gonzalez, people like Kendrick Davis, Ronald Samuel. That's what it's all about. Group economics, Roy Rodriguez, group economics, investment teams. Mindset is everything, as Ronald would say. And you got to ensure that you have the right mindset, okay? Goes to my Carrot Bars business. Sign up. If you know me, sign up as an affiliate, and then we can get together later and talk about how you can use this as a home-based business for very little money. And you can get extra tax write-offs, okay? It's not a scam. There's multiple ways to make money. Here are the different packages with Carrot Bars International. Sign up as an affiliate today for free. Okay, I've already had friends and family sign up, and we're getting them going, and they can make money off of their referrals. I make money off of their referrals. They make money off of my referrals. That's how it works. It's like we buy pieces of gold. We make money off of the asset, the interest that we can get off of purchasing the gold. That's what it's about. Group economics, investment teams. The saying goes, if you got a bunch of people around you that know more about power but don't know about getting money, you got a problem. And I'm just going to leave it at that. But anyways, I've gone longer than I was supposed to. Remember, you cannot get fired if you own the company. And if I was you in 2020, you better own something outside of owning a nice pair of Jordans, all right? Hopefully you guys like the video. Please subscribe. Check out my online store. Got lots of great products on there for you, the family, and everybody. So hopefully you guys have a great day, and I will see you next time. And thank you for everybody who's liked my page, subscribe to my YouTube page, and just click the like button. Simple stuff like that really matters. If you don't buy anything, that's cool, but just supporting me by hitting the subscribe button and clicking the like button means way more to me than you buying something, because that at least shows that you're supporting in a great way, and it takes 2 seconds to do something like that. So hopefully you guys have a great day and do great things.